I didn't leave him because I stopped loving him. I left because I stopped feeling safe. Every argument started the same way. A look, a tone, a door slammed just a little too hard. And then the shouting. Hours of it. Walls don't forget. Children don't either. Some nights felt like survival. Some nights felt like waiting for something worse. When it finally went quiet, that was the part that scared me the most, because silence meant he was thinking, planning, watching. So I signed the papers. I walked away. I told myself it was over. I thought distance would end it. I was wrong. Rain hits window. The first night I saw him, it was raining. The kind of rain that makes everything look blurred, distant, unreal. I couldn't sleep. Lucy had finally drifted off beside me, and the house was quiet. Too quiet. That's when I noticed it. A shape, across the street, standing under the tree. At first, I thought it was just the rain playing tricks on me. A shadow stretching longer than it should. A coat hanging wrong on a branch. But it didn't move. He was just there, facing the house, facing my window. I told myself not to be dramatic, not to be. The second night, he didn't hide. He stood there like he belonged, like this was part of a routine, and I was the only one who didn't know it. Then, he moved. Not much, just a tilt of his head. Slow, deliberate, like he was studying me. That's when I felt it. He wasn't watching the house, he was watching me, waiting for me to look back. And then he stepped closer. Not rushed, not angry, just certain, like distance was something he controlled. The streetlight flickered, shadows shifted across his body, but he didn't move. He didn't need the light. He knew I could see him. When he raised his hand, for a second I thought maybe he was signaling someone else, but he wasn't. He was signaling me. He waved. Slowly, like we shared a secret, like we had already met. That's when I stepped back, because I finally understood. This wasn't random. He wanted me to know he was there, and now I did. I didn't tell anyone about the first night. It sounded ridiculous in my head. A man standing under a tree? People stand under trees. Lucy didn't notice anything. She colored at the table, hummed to herself, completely untouched by whatever I thought I saw. By the time night came again, I almost convinced myself it never happened. The next night, I didn't wait for the storm. I waited for him. And somehow, that felt worse. Lucy slept through it again, like the world outside our house didn't exist. I wish I could sleep like that. The house was quiet. Too quiet. When silence stretches that long, it stops feeling peaceful. At first, the street looked empty. I almost convinced myself I was wrong. Almost. Then something moved. Not enough for anyone else to notice, but enough for me. He wasn't across the street anymore. He was closer, on my side. That's when I stopped wondering if he was real and started wondering why. She didn't want to sleep. She said the room felt different tonight, like someone was closer. I told her it was nothing, just shadows, just my imagination spilling into hers. I wanted that to be true. She kept staring at the window, not scared, just certain. And then she leaned toward me. Mom, he knows my name. My heart didn't race. It sank. because I never told him her name. She doesn't play outside alone. She doesn't talk to strangers. So how? That's when I stopped pretending and picked up the phone. I called the police.
Dispatch, Unit 12 arrived on scene approaching the residence. No visible activity yet, proceeding to the door. Copy, standing by.
They came faster than I expected. Blue lights washing over the house. For a moment, I felt safe, like someone else could finally see it. I told them everything. The rain, the nights, the way he stood there, the way he didn't move. They nodded, wrote things down, asked if I'd been under stress, if I was sleeping. That's when I understood. They weren't looking for him. They were looking at me. They searched the yard, shined their lights across the street, checked the locks. Nothing. One of them smiled. Sometimes shadows look like people, ma'am. Shadows. And then they left, blue lights fading into the distance. But the street didn't feel empty. Not to me. He's closer. The police said it was shadows. They said it was stress. But shadows don't come back. I told myself I wouldn't look, that I would go to bed. But I looked anyway. At first, nothing. The street was still. Too still. And then I saw it. Not a person, just something darker than the dark. He wasn't hiding this time. He was waiting, closer than before. The light flickered, just once, and I saw his shape clearly. He stepped forward, slow, deliberate. He wasn't just watching anymore. He was getting closer. If he was real, then I needed proof. Proof that it wasn't in my head. Through the screen, he looked smaller, contained, like I could control the distance. I zoomed in, trying to see his face. There was never a face. The camera kept hunting, in and out of focus, like it didn't know what it was looking at. And then it glitched, just for a second. The streetlight flickered, and for a moment he was clearer, still watching. And then he was gone. No footsteps, no movement, no sound, just empty. But empty didn't feel safe. Morning made everything look normal. The house, the street, the trees. Like the night had imagined itself. I almost felt foolish. Like maybe I had overreacted. Maybe the police were right. There was nothing on the porch. Nothing broken. Nothing disturbed. At first. Then I saw the edge of it, barely visible, like it wanted to be found. It was Lucy's drawing, the one she made last week. The house, the tree, and him. She left it on the kitchen table. Inside. On the back, in thick black marker, I see you. He wasn't watching from a distance. He had been here. The street looked empty, but empty doesn't mean alone. It means unseen. That night felt different. Too quiet, like the house was holding its breath. And then the lights went out. No warning, no flicker. The silence that followed was louder than the dark. You don't realize how much electricity hums until it stops. "Mom?" I heard Lucy in the hallway. I grabbed the flashlight. My hands didn't shake. Not yet. The beam cut through the dark. Every shadow looked alive. Every door felt like it was hiding something. That's when I heard it. The front door. The handle moved, slow, testing. Then it rattled, harder, like someone was checking if we were home. Lucy's fingers dug into my arm, and I realized he wasn't watching anymore. He wanted in. And this time, he wasn't waiting. When the police arrived, I already knew. Some fears don't surprise you. They just confirm what your heart has been whispering. They searched the yard, checked the tree, shined their lights into the dark. But I wasn't afraid anymore. I had seen that shadow before. I had felt that presence before. It wasn't a stranger. He always said he'd never let me leave, even after the papers were signed, even after the silence. When they brought him forward, I didn't gasp, I didn't scream. I just looked. The man who watched my house every night was the man who once called it home. He wasn't hiding in the dark. He was hiding in the past, in promises that turned into threats, in love that turned into control. When the door of that patrol car shut, it didn't feel like revenge. It felt like air. Morning came quietly. The tree was still there. The street was empty. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't being watched.